Hello everyone, welcome to the second video on simplifying radicals. So last video we did a few problems where we were doing some square roots, simplifying them, and we're going to get to cube roots. But I want to do one more square root here. So I chose one that's a fairly large number. I've got to do the factor tree here for 343. All right, so most of us can't tell by looking at that what is going to go into 343 or what I can multiply to make 343. It's an odd number, right? It ends in a 3, so it's an odd number. So I know it's going to be divisible by an odd number. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to divide it by some odd numbers. And I'm just going to start with the smallest odd number that makes sense using. Again, what I mean by that is you're not going to divide it by 1 because you're going to get 343. I'm going to divide it by 3. Well, you can see here I get 114. That's not helpful. That's not a whole number. I'm going to show divided by 5, but I know 5 won't work because the number doesn't end in a 5 or a 0. So again, not a whole number. Let's try 7. There we go. 7 times 49. So 343 divided by 7 is 49. So I know 49 times 7 makes 343. So I'm going to split this up into 7 times 49. I can't break down the 7. It's a prime number. 49, well, we've seen that before. 49, that's 7 times 7. Can't break down the sevens. So it looks like I have 3 sevens. So this becomes the square root of 7 times 7 times 7. And again, I remember with square roots, there's an understood 2 there, which tells you you're looking for groups of 2. We're looking for pairs. And again, 2 on the inside of the square root gives me 1 on the outside. This guy doesn't have a partner. It has to stay put. And we get 7 square root of 7. All right, so let's take a look at some cube roots. So perfect cube roots down here. So the cube root of 8. Well, 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. And when we say the cube root of something, there's a 3 there, right? Cube root. We're looking for 3 of the same numbers that make 8. Well, it takes 3 2's, multiplication, to make 8. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of 729. That is going to be, let's see, I think that's going to be 9 times 9 times 9. I'm going to double check that. Can always check ourselves, right? 9, don't know why that popped up, times, it doesn't like me using my pen to do that. There we go. 9 times 9 times 9 is 729. Right? So the cube root of 729 is 9. Right? So we've got some perfect cubes there. Now I want to come to one where it's a negative. Okay. So whereas square roots were always positive because we're talking about pairs, and if you're doing a positive times a positive, you're going to get a positive. If you do a negative times a negative, you're still going to get a positive. With cube roots, you can multiply some negatives here, right? So cube root of negative 1, what can you multiply 3 times and make negative 1? Right? If I multiply negative 1 3 times, I get negative 1. So the cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. The next one, we saw that number a moment ago, except now it's negative 343. And remember, when we did 343, we got 777. But now it's negative 343. So It's now going to be -7 times -7 times -7. So it takes 3 -7s to make 343. Okay. So now we're looking for groups of 3, right? Cube roots, we're looking for groups of 3. That is the only difference when we're going to be simplifying this, right? That's the only difference in the process. Now we look for groups of 3. The first step is still the same. You're going to do your factor tree. We have to break this down. So now we're doing ones that are not perfect cube roots. All these were perfect cube roots. They all turned out to be whole number answers. These are not going to be whole number answers. So here we go. 40, all right? You can start it with 2 times 10, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, 5 times 8. Will make no difference how you start it. I'm going to start 4 times 10. Okay. Both of these can be broken up some more. The 4 is 2 times 2. Can't break up the 2's. 10, 2 times 5. Can't break up the 2. Can't break up the 5. So here we go. 3 2's and a 5. So now I have the cube root. Now you do have to put your 3 out here, remember? It's cube root. It helps you remember that you're looking for groups of 3. 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Now, whereas before when we were doing square roots, we circled pairs, now we want to look for and circle groups of 3. Now I have 3 2's here. Now it takes 3 on the inside to make 1 on the outside. So the 3 2's makes 1 2 on the outside. This does not have a partner, and I'm left with the cube root of 5. Again, enter that in your calculator, enter this in your calculator, you should get the same thing, 3 point something. Probably close to 3.3 is going to be my best guess. All right. Same thing here. We're going to do 500, cube root of 500. So again, we're going to start with our factor tree. Again, notice the process is the same. Okay. So we did this last time. Factor tree, wrote it out, looked for pairs, 2 on the inside makes 1. Only difference now is it's 3 on the inside that makes 1. Okay, process is still the same. Really not a whole lot new here. So 500, well, that ends in 2 zeros, so that's not a tough one. That's going to be 5 times 100. Can't break up the 5. Now the 100 you can split up many different ways. You can do 50 times 2. We can do 4 times 25. Several different ways of doing it. 10 and 10. I'm going to pick 4 times 25. Okay. I don't have any special reason for doing that instead of 5 times 20 or 2 times 50. That's just what I'm going with. All right. 4, 2 times 2. Can't go anymore with the 2's. 25, 5 times 5. And I'm done there. So I have the 5 up here. It's real easy just to take this and put it in there. Make sure you take everything. So now we have the cube root of, so I've got 2 2's. And I have 1, 2, 3 5's. And again, because I'm doing the cube root, I remember to put the 3 here. It helps me remember that I'm looking for groups of 3. Here's a group of 3 5's. And again, 5 on the inside makes 1 on the outside. I do not have a group of 3 there. Right, pair's not enough. cube root, I need a group of 3. So that has to stay put. So cube root, and then 2 times 2. And I'm going to write that. We're going to clean that up again. That's going to become the cube root of 4. So 5 times the cube root of 4. Be careful not to read this as 5 to the 3rd power. That 3 is in that little nook there, right? It's called the index. So that's 5 times cube root of 4. All right, now, cube root of negative numbers. The best way to deal with this, because it's a negative number, is immediately pull out the negative. I know the cube root of a negative number is going to be a negative number. So you guys may find other ways that you like to do this, but I've found the best thing for students is if you're doing the cube root of a negative, is just to pull the negative out front and then deal with the cube root of 16. It makes all work simpler because now you don't have to worry about any positives versus negatives. Did I leave out a sign? Did I put one too many signs? It's very direct. We're just going to deal with the cube root of 16. Right? So now we've got to split up the 16. 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Again, take your pick. I'm going to do 2 times 8. I'm done there with the 2. 8, 4 times 2. You see me previously write that as 2 times 4. Doesn't matter, it's multiplication. I'm done with the 2. The 4 can be broken up, 2 and 2, and I'm done with my 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. So I come over here, I bring down my negative sign. I have the cube root, and then all the things I've circled, remember, go inside. Got 4 2's. And because I'm doing the cube root, I'm going to look for a group of 3. And so you've got a negative sign. These 3 on the inside, you get 1 on the outside. So those are taken care of. And now you've got this 2 left over, so you're going to be left with the cube root of 2. Okay. And again, we'll do that again with a negative number over here. Cube root of negative 320. Immediately, I'm going to pull the negative out front and deal with the cube root of 320, not 230. All right, so 320, 32 times 10, 2 times 5. I'm not going to have time for this. I'm going to cut this one out.